Back to talk about spasticity. This is actually like my 14th time trying to do this video, so if I can't do it this time, I'm gonna just try another day. Spasticity is actually just it is a set of muscles that are continuously, what's the word? Contracted. And it can cause issues with speech, gait, mobility, and a lot of different things in your life. Usually, not usually, but the majority of the time it's in your legs or your limbs, but it's not only in your legs or your limbs. It can happen in any muscle group in your body. Usually it is what can cause spasticity is changes in weather, humidity, viruses, illnesses, relapses, or anything along those lines. But it can also come from nothing. You can get it just from nothing. Tight clothing can also cause it, and changes in position can also cause it. So those are some things that can cause spasticity. Spasticity can cause stiffness. What stiffness feels like is if you've ever been out on a cold day and when you're really super, super, super cold, let's say, for instance, for somebody without MS, okay? I'm going to try to tell you how stiffness feels. For somebody without MS, what stiffness might feel like is when you go out and let's say you shovel your driveway and you're out there 2 hours. Let's say 2 hours. What it feels like when you go inside and then you try to bend your legs and it's like hard to bend your legs because your legs are like frozen. That's what stiffness feels like. How your legs are stiff from being frozen from being outside. Only for us, it doesn't take being cold. That just happens to us for no reason. We wake up feeling like that, or we lay down feeling like that, or it just happens to us for no reason. That's what the stiffness from spasticity feels like for us. We also get sometimes what's called hyperreflexes. What hyperreflexes is, for instance, for me, if I'm just sitting there with my legs dangling for like the reflex test, and I would say hit the top of my leg by my knee, my leg goes flying. It's not the top where they hit for reflexes, not the front under your kneecap, but the actual top where you would hit it, like say if you're laughing. That if I hit that top part where when I'm laughing, my leg goes flying. And that's because of hyperreflexes caused by spasticity. Some other things that are caused by spasticity is if you are laying down or just sitting there and suddenly your legs or your arms just jerk. That is spasticity. It's caused by the muscles just jerking or involuntary responses to the muscles contracting. We don't have control over that, and sometimes it's very painful to us. Some other things that can happen from spasticity are frozen muscles, and people a lot of times don't know about this. I see posts in MS groups a lot about this, and personally I didn't even know about this until March 1st of this year, MS month, when it happened to me. What it is actually my hands actually become stuck like this. And I didn't know what was happening to me. My hands were stuck. And my mouth was stuck like that, and my eye was stuck. And I didn't know what was happening. I was freaking out. I went to the emergency room, and they finally told me that it was spasticity caused by the MS. I didn't know that it could do that to me. There's actually something else that can also cause this, and it's not called spasticity. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it right now while I'm on video. I'm going to post it in the header when I post this video. But there's another thing that I'm going to make a video about that can cause this same thing. And I'm going to make a video about that later because it's very, very similar to spasticity, and it causes this same frozen muscles. But spasticity can also cause it. But another thing that spasticity can also cause is when like I said, your muscles get frozen, as I was saying. You can get where your muscles are jumping. Another thing that happened while my muscles were frozen is that they were actually vibrating, which is a really weird feeling. It actually felt like my hands were being electrified. And it was really weird feeling. Horrible, weird feeling, actually. But it was part of the spasticity. There's nothing really that I could do about it. Another thing is there's twitching is part of the spasticity. And this is all part of the MS. This is all part of damage to the brain and the central nerve, or I'm sorry, the brain and the spinal cord in the part that controls this part of the voluntary muscle control. And that is due to the MS. And this is part of the spasticity that we have no control over. Some medications that help are baclofen, Valium, clozapam. There's one that starts with a D or a Z that I can't think of the name of, and I'll post that in the comments. And medical marijuana. Medical marijuana helps quite a bit. If you're in a medical state, I do suggest that you do some research and possibly give that a try if you haven't before, because it will really give you some relief if you live in one of those states. I unfortunately don't live in one of the medical states. Well,